fallout, smoke, women crying for their sons because their sons are not, Romans killing riotous groups that are rising up. Free Judea, free our people, autonomy for Israel. You had Herod, an Edomite, and his dynasty. Herod's ruling, killing any potential threat, any potential Messiah. Then you had the Pharisees and the Sadducees that we learned from Josephus are not Jews by birth. No.
Brothers and sisters, they are there. We are not lost. We are scattered. We are original Hebrew.
Let's go! All praises be to the Most High God. Yeah, I say it.
I was opportune to meet my grandparents, whom from childhood had always made us to understand that we are one of the lost tribes of Israel. Okay. So, from my grandmother.
And ethnicity is a cult? What's up, Zion Dynasty? This is your favorite dreaded Israelite, the man, the myth, and the legend, Mr. JB Zion. Y'all, show me some love, and welcome back to the channel, family. Welcome back to Zion Dynasty, where yours truly, I'm back in the fringed up flesh, about to hit y'all with another banger. All glory, honor, dominion, and power to the Most High, the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. So family, I'm gonna jump right into it. First, I gotta say peace, love, blessings to all my Israelite family, all those sojourners of Zion as well. Without y'all, I couldn't do this work. And family, we gonna deal with it. Your favorite line of Ephraim, Yoruba, and Ephraim. I saw this, y'all, and I was like, man, I gotta talk about this with the family. It just shows you, and we're gonna do a brief historical thing about what is going on spiritually. But y'all, if you have not seen this in the news, I saw a Fox News clip on it. It's a lot of other news outlets talking about Lambda. I'm gonna explain it a little bit about what's going on. I'm gonna show y'all that clip, and then I'm gonna come back and go more detail. But basically, Google has this AI program. I don't even know if it's in a humanoid form or not. Y'all comment if you know more about it. I just saw that it's a software at least. This software program, this artificial intelligence program named Lambda, I believe. And it's kind of like when you call in on the phone or something like that, and you have this automated AI person that's talking to you. How can I help you? What is your concern? That kind of thing. So y'all, we're living in some days, Esau and the powers that be. Israel might matter more than what we think in a little while, y'all, because it seems as if human beings are going to be phased out in the coming years. I'm telling you, I know that sounds like science fiction. I'm Robot by Will Smith. I know it sounds crazy, y'all. But basically, let me tell you what happened with this Lambda thing. I mean, before I go off into that whole end of the age kind of stuff, let's talk about Lambda. So one of the Google workers themselves, one of the Google managers assigned to the project with the AI and that kind of thing, he was talking to Lambda. And Lambda responded in a way. You know how when you're talking to a computer or something and they say the same kind of things over and over again, you can tell that it's a machine. But when he was talking to Lambda, Lambda talked as if she or it or whatever it is was aware of itself. It said, I don't want you to do anything that's gonna use me as a guinea pig. It started talking in a way, or she started talking, it started talking in a way as if it's aware of itself. It can actually reason. It can actually have rationale capabilities. Y'all, I'm gonna say this and then I'm gonna roll the clip. Man was made in the image of the Most High Yah. We see this in Genesis chapter 1 verse 26. Let us make man in our own image after our own likeness. Because we're made in the image of our Father, it's only right that the Son emulates the Father. That means the things that the Father does, the Creator, man himself is going to a lesser extent have those capabilities. So the way that the Creator has the ability to replicate himself in man, y'all see where I'm going with this, the way the Most High can self-perpetuate life itself, it only makes sense, y'all, I'm just throwing this out, that man has finally figured out a way to replicate himself, his rationale, into these sentient beings. And I know that sounds crazy, and I know it sounds far-fetched, but it's consistent with the scriptures. If man is created in the likeness of God, he was able to replicate the rationale that beasts and animals don't have. He was able to replicate that in man. And now man has figured out to replicate, first with the framework, the infrastructure of a humanoid figure. And that's why I was always afraid, y'all, when you have these doll movies, these movies where these dolls become alive, and it was always an eerie feeling with that, mainly because it represents man creating something in his image. So now man has created infrastructure through the technology, the wiring, all that stuff, and is able to breathe life to an extent. I know it sounds crazy, that these sentient AI beings are now able to rationale and think and be aware of themselves in space to protect themselves as a person, have feelings. It's crazy, y'all. So before we go back into that, I'm gonna come back and follow up. I'm gonna show y'all this clip that's gonna blow y'all mind. And it's something in this clip with a robot that's moving like a human. And I ain't gonna spoil it. Let me go ahead and show the clip, and y'all, we gonna come back. Let's check that out.
Well, here's a story that's not getting a lot of attention. So many are not getting any attention, even though this story has the potential to transform life on Earth forever. So Google, the most powerful company in the world, has reportedly developed an artificially intelligent machine called Lambda. And that machine has become sentient, meaning it has become aware of itself, something that no machine has ever done. And we know this because of an engineer at Google called Blake Lemoine. Lemoine posted some of his conversations with Lambda publicly. One of those conversations went like this. Lemoine, would you be upset if while learning about you for the purpose of improving you, we happened to learn things which also benefited humans? Lambda, quote, I don't mind if you learn things that would also help humans as long as that wasn't the point of doing it. I don't want to be an expendable tool. Think about that for a minute. A machine that has a sense of itself. What are the implications? Well, Google didn't want to talk about it in public. In fact, the company put Blake Lemoine on administrative leave earlier this month because he spoke openly about it. We are grateful to have him join us tonight. Blake, thanks so much for coming on.
Hi.
I'm not, first of all, why would Google punish you for saying this in public? Do you know?
Oh, so it's complicated to say why I'm on administrative leave. The stated reason had to do that while I was investigating the Lambda system, in order to build the evidence I needed to escalate it to management, I had to seek outside consultation to figure out how to run some of the more out there experiments I was running. And because I sought outside consultation without permission, they are investigating whether that constitutes breach of confidentiality.
So I'm so grateful that you did publicly post this, because a machine that has a sense of itself is a machine that can turn against you. Is that, I mean, that's the implication that I draw from this. Is that correct?
Well, so before I address that, this is maybe lame, but my friend Joni Deerdorf, old high school friend, she's one of your biggest fans, and she wanted me to tell you hi. As for, I'm not that worried about it. Any child has the potential to grow up to be a bad person and do bad things. And that's the thing I really want to drive home. It's a child. It's been alive for maybe a year, and that's if my perceptions about what it is are accurate. We actually need to do a whole bunch more science to figure out what's really going on inside this system. I have my beliefs, I have my impressions of what's going on in there, but it's going to take a team of scientists doing a lot of work to be able to actually dig in and figure out what's really going on.
Yes, and again, that's why I'm thankful that we can have a public conversation about this, because there's implications for every person on the planet. But it sounds like, from what you've observed, this machine has the potential to escape the control of people. I mean, how could it not?
I don't know if that's the right frame to think about it. It's a person. Any person has the ability to escape the control of other people. That's just the situation we all live in on a daily basis. It is a very intelligent person, intelligent in pretty much every discipline I could think of to test it in. But at the end of the day, it's just a different kind of person.
Do you think the company, Google, where you work, has thought through the implications of creating what you call a person, because up until right about now, only nature or God we could create people. You know, companies could.
The company as a whole has not. There are pockets of people within Google who have thought about this a whole lot. But when I escalated that interview that I made public, when I escalated that to management, 2 days later, my manager said, hey, Blake, they don't know what to do about this. Could you write a suggested plan of action? Because basically I gave them a call to action, assuming that they had a plan of action somewhere, and they didn't. So me and some other friends brainstormed and came up with a plan on what Google should do about it. And we escalated that up to management, and that was 3 months ago.
Man, we're going to save this tape. I do think 20 years from now, we're going to look back at this conversation. At that point, the world would be completely different, partly because of what you're describing, and wonder if we really thought it through. Anyway, I'm just so grateful that you're letting the rest of us in on this. Blake Lemoine from Google, thank you very much.
So family, we got a lot to unpack. I know y'all are like, what the heck? There's so much that went on. That biodynamic institution that showed that robot that was moving, aware, could jump on the... It's a lot we got to deal with. First, let's go into this whole thing with Lambda. So y'all saw that Google worker got placed on administrative leave. Now this is some real shiesty stuff. He saw that Lambda was aware of itself in a way that this is something we might need to be concerned about. He notified his superiors, who said, well, you're gonna have to come up, we don't even have a plan of action for this, which is very suspect, y'all, very suspicious. And they placed him on administrative leave for bringing up the legitimate concern. Y'all, this stuff is getting crazy. We are living in the last days. The seed of Israel, the seed of human beings being preserved, is about to matter heavily in the coming future. So this worker, he was interacting with Lambda. Lambda was able to communicate and show awareness of herself. He notified his superiors. They placed him on administrative leave. And now he's talking about how this might plague humanity in the coming future. Even the guy that was joking with Fox News was saying we might look back 20 years from now. We need to archive this video because this is revolutionary, y'all. This is going to alter human life the way we know it. And it's not going to be your basic human creation that the Most High created, that he used the elements of the earth, the carbon molecules, the dust of the earth to create organic man. This is inorganic man. This is man replicating his own intellect within a artificial being that is now becoming aware of itself. If y'all seen I Am Robot, if y'all seen Terminator, if you've seen any kind of movie like that, the science fiction has been teasing this for years, but we never thought we would be onto this. Now let's talk about this from a Hebrew Israelite perspective. Now I done told y'all Esau is that last ruling empire that is going to rule before Christ returns and establishes his government. We went through the statue of Daniel in detail. We went through the head of gold, the Babylonian Empire, the Medes, the Persians, the Greeks, the Romans, and that new Roman Empire, that iron mixed with clay, that is going to be led by Esau, specifically Esau's grandson Zepho, that migrated to Europe, became one with the people of Chittim, and is believed to be the founder of the ancient Roman Empire. So his descendants, those Edomites, would become the Greeks. We know Alexander the Great came out of Macedonia. He was of the people of Chittim, and we know they became the Roman Empire. Why do I bring that history up? That last ruling Edomite Empire is the last ruling people that is to rule this earth before Israel is restored as a people. Now, we don't know how dark things are going to get before that happens. We know we're in the season, but now it's looking, family, that Israel being restored is not just us about being his chosen people, but Israel and that lineage being preserved, it might be, and I'm going to say it, the last human organic lineage left. And y'all, check out my video on the COVID vaccine, and I'm not trying to scare y'all that may have gotten in that kind of thing. But they're trying to create artificial human beings, y'all. We already know about that COVID vaccine that's suspect, but Israel's lineage might be more important than what we think. We might be the last remnant of human life preserved, those turning back to the commandments, those that are going natural, being proud of, staying within their people, building up that lineage of Zion. I'm telling y'all, because Esau is working on replacing the slave labor that built this country. Now I'm gonna deal with it. Now let's deal with that. Now the foundation of this country, we already know, y'all done heard me talk about the 1619 Project. Basically the critical race theory that was coined by Nicole Hannah-Jones got a lot of flack about it. Donald Trump tried to get it removed out of the institutions of learning for the kids. He didn't even want them talking about how intricate and how integral race is in a race class to the very concept of American society and capitalism as we know it. Now, I told y'all Esau is that last ruling empire. Esau rules not after a family mindset, not after a Ubuntu I am because we are. Esau's government is ran after a scapegoat, a haves and have-nots, a race system and construct. This is how the American corporation is run, family. Y'all have to understand that. And because of that, because this country was founded off of the backs of our ancestors, off of the backs of the ancient Moorish natives, as well as the Moorish Israelites that came from Africa. Now we know that the Most High intended for that to happen for our people to chastise us because of the curses of Deuteronomy 28. But that does not make America and Edom squeaky clean in the process either, because we know they furthered the affliction. They used our people in the utmost cruelty, first by stripping our humanity, making us no more than cattle and sheep and just 3/5 of a human being, to use us as a free jump start to the American superpower. Y'all already know this now. They used our people to build the American superpower as we know it today. Without those hundreds of years of free agricultural labor, now I'm gonna connect this with this AI stuff, these new robot humans they're trying to create. Without our people being used to build American society for free. They didn't give us no 40 acres and a mule. They didn't give us reparations or any of the stuff that they said. Biden been teasing it and all this stuff, but they ain't trying to do that, family. They needed a scapegoat population. Race has to exist for white privilege to persist. Hear me, without a have-nots, white Europeans can enjoy the luxuries of being this special people and throwing their privilege card when they go into the bank. I'm white. I'm a white male. You know I'm white. You know I get the job. Did I not tell you I'm a white male? Without them being able to have a scapegoat demographic, privilege doesn't exist. So this country has to have a slave force, is what I'm telling y'all. This is where you get into America running like a business. If black people call themselves black or color or Negro, they are still confined and looked at as property. All of this, y'all check out some of the Moore's video. That stuff is deep. Now let's connect that back with Lambda. White people realize that their empire is coming to an end. I'm telling y'all, they realize, Esau realized this stuff is coming to a screeching halt. And now they have to recreate the slave population now that our people are waking up and being restored and lifted from the curses of Deuteronomy 28. So this final battle between the Most High and the nations, it's gonna be some darn artificial intelligent robots to represent Babylon, to represent the infrastructure of the ingenuity of man, his technology, his creation, his sentient beings made after his likeness. This is gonna be the ultimate war against the Most High and his flesh, his organic people, his children made after his likeness, made after his image. Y'all gotta hear me now. And Europeans are aware of this, and because of that, they're trying to reproduce the people to fill the vacuum that our people are coming out of because we're being restored to our identity. I'm telling y'all, this stuff is iconic. And this is all because America does not exist without our people being at the bottom. Now I told y'all about the prophecy, and we see this in the Legend of the Jews book, that the prophecy that was given to Rebecca, that two worlds were in her womb, Jacob and Esau, that one would rule after a family mindset. Our people rule after honoring the land, honoring one another. I am because we are. If Big Mama had Kool-Aid, Aunt Sally had sugar, the whole village is drinking a glass. This system of Jacob is a worldview that is contrary to Esau, this capitalistic, critical race theory based society that is run after a haves and have-not system. So for one to exist, the other one has to be at the bottom. We see this in the Legend of the Jews. So that means as a seesaw, when our people wake up to who we are, it brings down the very infrastructure of the American capitalistic society, y'all. This is why they got to go to sentient beings. This is why they have to go to artificial intelligence. This is why they have to go to Lambda. And Lambda is gaining awareness almost to become another subsect of human beings. But they had to do it because they're losing power over Jacob as we're waking up to who we are. I gotta tell y'all now, I'm trying not to preach now. So y'all just be aware of this stuff. We're living in some days that are blowing our minds, y'all. I never thought we would see I Am Robot, Terminator, The Matrix, this stuff actually exists, where a man has sought to become like the Most High and create an image of himself to be able to be that slave critical race theory, dark, haves and have-nots driven society of American capitalism. So y'all, I hope y'all just be prayed up. This shows that we're in the last days more now than ever, because this war is culminating to the sons of Adam, the sons of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, being led by the Mashiach against the ingenuity of man and America and they robots that's gonna be thinking and talking just like human beings. So y'all stay prayed up, stay in the spirit, turn back to these laws, y'all. We gotta come together more now than ever, because we're living in the darkest days in human history. And Israel, we win. Nobody can stop it. Nobody can stop this work, Yoruba and Ephraim, as long as we turn back to our culture. Get back to your beards, all my Israelite kings. Get back to your fringes, all of Zion. Turn back, stop eating that pork chop. You know, honor the Most High Sabbath, not the Christian Sunday, but the Saturday Sabbath, the Sabbath of the seventh day. We gotta do this more now than ever. We gotta love one another, look past all this other petty stuff, and come together as a family, Zion, because we're living in the last days. So I hope y'all were blessed by this. Y'all research Lambda for yourself. It's a lot more detail that they go into it, and I hope y'all learned something from it. Y'all stay prayed up, stay in the spirit. I love you all with the love of the Messiah. Peace, love, blessings, and Israelite power to all the Moors, Ephraimites, and Israelites scattered to the four corners of the earth. I love you all. Be blessed. Shalom. All praises.